Welcome to Cryptic Library. Step inside, if you dare. Here at Cryptic Library, we delve into the shadows to uncover terrifying creepypasta and chilling lore that will send shivers down your spine. From bone-chilling tales of the unknown to dark legends that linger in the corners of your mind, we bring the haunting words of Kyle Byrom to life. Prepare yourself for gripping narrations, eerie atmospheres, and stories that will keep you looking over your shoulder long after the screen goes dark. If you crave the mysterious, the macabre, and the utterly unsettling, then you found your home in the Cryptic Library. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, you won't want to miss the next chapter in our tale of terror. Are you ready to turn the page?
I had always been a skeptic. People around me, those who indulged in the paranormal or occult, used to get a laugh from my disbelief. There's no such thing as fate, I'd often say. Nothing happens without reason. I scoffed at the idea that the universe had a plan, that strange occurrences had a hidden meaning, or that anything beyond the physical realm could touch us. But that was before I discovered r/FutureSight. It all began on an otherwise mundane evening. I'd been scrolling aimlessly through the dark recesses of Reddit, a habit I indulged in after long hours of work, when a random post caught my attention. It was titled, "You Can't Escape the Future. It's Already Happened." It seemed like something too bizarre to pass up, and so, against my better judgment, I clicked it. The post was cryptic, a single line. "I know what you did last year." That was it. No other context. No comments. No engagement. Just that chilling statement, hanging in the digital void. I stared at the post for several long moments, wondering if it was some sort of prank. But something about it gnawed at me, a discomfort that I couldn't shake. My heart skipped a beat, and a cold unease crept up my spine. I decided to reply with some facetious comment, "You don't know anything. Try again." And closed my laptop, hoping to rid myself of whatever ridiculousness had just wormed its way into my evening. But then, the phone buzzed. The notification read, "You don't know it yet, but you will. I'll show you." My heart sank. The name of the Reddit account that had sent the message was new, barely an hour old, but the strange energy lingered. My fingers hovered over the keyboard as I considered replying, but before I could, the entire thread for. My eyes widened as the page flickered, and a new post took its place. The title read, "Timeline, You." I clicked the hyperlink out of pure curiosity, even though every fiber of my being screamed to look away. The post was eerily detailed. It wasn't vague or riddled with cryptic riddles. It described my daily routine in precise detail, my morning rituals, the route I took to work, my interactions with colleagues, even the time I spent buying coffee at a local cafe. I felt my stomach twist into knots. How could anyone know this? It even described a fleeting encounter I'd had with an old friend on my way to the office, a friend I hadn't seen in months. That's impossible, I thought. I haven't told anyone about that. I couldn't explain it. But the post only grew more sinister. As I read on, it started to predict future events, things that hadn't happened yet but that, after reflection, I knew would. "Your boss will call you into his office tomorrow. He'll offer you a promotion, but you won't accept it. You'll quit your job instead, and you'll leave without a plan." I shook my head. That's ridiculous. Sure, work had been tough lately, but this was going too far. I almost dismissed it as some strange coincidence. That was until I started to replay the interaction I had with my boss earlier that week. A conversation that had been fraught with tension but had led nowhere. Could it be possible? But the post was right again. The following morning, I walked into my office to find my boss waiting for me with a sealed envelope on his desk. The promotion. The offer. And as predicted, I turned it down. My gut twisted, but I didn't know why. My feet moved as if they were tethered to an invisible string, leading me in directions I didn't plan to take. I walked out of the office without a word, barely able to make sense of my own actions. But that was only the beginning. The following day, I got into my car, prepared for the next prediction to come true. I was supposed to get into my car and drive to work, but as the post predicted, something else happened. The black sedan appeared. It followed me. It followed me as I drove past familiar streets, took strange turns, and veered off the normal path. I tried to shake off the overwhelming sense of dread that pulsed through my body. The words from the post echoed in my head. You will trust him. He will kill you. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't just being watched. I was being led. Led by something, someone, who knew exactly what I would do before I did it. At a stoplight, the black sedan pulled up next to me. The driver's window rolled down, revealing a man in a perfectly tailored suit, his eyes hidden behind dark sunglasses. No. The moment I saw him, a part of me recognized him, not from any previous encounter, but from the face on the subreddit post, staring at me with a sinister grin. I could almost hear his voice, despite the windows being up. Need some help? I didn't respond. I just stared, frozen, as my thoughts scrambled. The man's voice was smooth, almost comforting. Too comforting. Come on, he urged, I know you're in trouble. You don't want to get stuck out here. I tried to turn the key in my ignition, but my hand was paralyzed. It was as if I wasn't the one driving the car anymore. I was just a passenger. I can help you. He smiled again, that same smile from the post, his teeth too perfect, too white. I should have driven away. I should have screamed, done anything to escape, but I didn't. My foot pressed the gas pedal, and against every instinct I had, I followed him. My hands shook. My mind screamed at me, but my body just moved in time with the post's predictions. The black sedan led me down a winding road, and soon enough, we were miles from any signs of civilization. The streetlights flickered as we pulled into a dilapidated mechanic shop, the faded neon signs casting an eerie glow. He got out of the car before I could even blink, his movements unnervingly smooth. He gestured for me to follow. Don't worry. It's just a minor thing with your car. It'll be fine. Everything inside me screamed no. But I was already moving, like a puppet on a string, forced to follow. As I entered the dimly lit garage, my stomach turned. The air smelled thick with oil, gasoline, and something worse, something sour. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting long, unnatural shadows. I could hear his footsteps behind me. It's not real, I told myself. None of this is real. But then I saw the man again. This time, standing in front of a table cluttered with tools, strange objects, and a piece of cloth that looked disturbingly like my shirt. You're going to be fine, he said. His voice was a low murmur that scraped against my skin like ice. I stumbled back. Who are you? I demanded, but I already knew the answer. It was the same man from the subreddit. He had been watching me, guiding me every step of the way. I'm not the one you should be asking, he said, his smile stretching unnaturally wide. You need to ask yourself why you're here. The moment the words left his lips, everything clicked. The realization hit me like a wave of nausea. I wasn't just reading about my future. I was living it. And worse, I was being controlled by it. My body wasn't making its own choices. It was as if the subreddit wasn't a predictor, it was a puppeteer. Before I could scream, his hands shot out, grabbing me by the wrist with inhuman force. The room spun around me. You thought you had free will, didn't you? But you're just a character. You've been living in a pre-written story this whole time. I struggled to break free, but the grip tightened, and the world started to distort around me. I had been reading someone else's past, someone who had lived before me, someone who had already died. Don't worry, the man said, his voice turning cold and hollow. Your story isn't over yet. To be continued.